Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to be working on our home screen, right? We are going to be working on our home screen. So without wasting much of the time, let's dive into the video, right? So make sure that you go to our features folder, home, and then our home screen, and then let's make sure that we change it to return a scaffold widget, right? And then make sure that the background color is going to be upcolors dot primary. So just make sure that we import the up color. And then the next thing that we need is we need a body. So our body, we are going to wrap it with a safe area widget so that our user interface does not protrude to the notification bar. Okay, so now what we need is a single child scroll view. Is single child scroll view, and then we also, the child of the single child scroll view is going to be a column widget, and then it's going to take in the children. And then we have the main axis alignment, which is going to be our main axis alignment dot start. Main axis alignment dot start, and then we also have the cross axis alignment, which is going to be cross axis alignment dot start also. Okay, so now that we are done with this, if we check our home screen, so let me just pull out the emulator here. You can check our home screen. We have this order your favorite food, right? So let's work on it. So let's make sure that we wrap it inside a raw widget. Okay, let's make sure raw widget, and then we are going to make sure that we have a text widget. And then the text is going to be order your favorite / fast food, like this. Okay, now let's give it a style. So it's going to be a text style. And then the color, let's make sure that the color is black. And then we'll make sure that we also have a font size of 20. And then we have a font weight. And then font weight .w700. Okay. So let's make sure that we wrap it with a constant widget, right? Let's wrap our text with a constant widget. And then we also need another icon here. Okay, we also need another child, which is going to be a container widget. And then in this container widget, so let's remove this constant here. So container widget, let's make sure that it has a height of 43 and then also a width of 43. Okay, so if I pull out my Figma, let me pull out my Figma. And then let me just pull it up on the screen here. This is Figma, right? So we have this item here. We have this notification item. So I'm just going to make sure that I download it. So I'm going to call it notification icon. And then I've downloaded it. We have this notification icon right there. So as you can see from our user interface, let me just zoom it in so that you can see. We have this notification item here that we need, right? So I'm just going to grab it from the assets folder. Inside our donation, this is our notification icon. I copy it. I'm just going to paste it under assets icon. Assets, let's create a folder called icons, right? So I'm just going to open that folder, and then I'm just going to paste this icon right there. I've pasted this icon right there. So now what I can do is move to our pubspec.yaml file. So inside our pubspec.yaml file, I had already added these other folders with our banner, categories, and then food. So you can get them from the GitHub repository, and make sure that you have these lines of code inside your pubspec.yaml. So it's going to be assets/icons like this, and then make sure that we update the pubspec.yaml by clicking this download icon right there. Okay, right. So now that we have done that, let's decorate our container. So we are going to decorate it with a box decoration. So let's decorate it with our box decoration, and then let's make sure that we give it a color of color.white, and then a shape. As you can see from this icon is wrapped around this white container, right? So the shape is going to be a box shape.circle like this, right? And then the child of that container, so let's make sure that the child of that container, so the child of that container is going to be an image.asset. Then that image is in our assets folder, assets/icons. And then for slash also, what else do we have? We have the notification icon.png, right? Notification icon.png like this, right? And then we'll make sure that this icon, we give it a height of 21 and also a width of 21 like this, right? So let's just save so that it will to format our code, right? So let's just save it like this. So I'll make sure that I put a semicolon here, and then let's save it. Now you can clearly see we now have this raw widget here. So now what I'm going to do is make sure that there is some spacing, main axis alignment, which is go to main axis alignment dot space between. Main axis alignment dot space between was one, the space between these two children, right? Space between like this, okay. And then let's wrap it around with a padding widget. Then let's wrap it with a constant. Okay, so if I reload our user interface, Now you can see we now have this order your favorite food like this with this icon. And then from the next, what we want in our next, we want this search item, right? This search text field. So let's work on that search text field, right? Let's work with that on that search text field. So we are going to create a folder called search. Inside our features, let's create a folder called search. And then inside that folder, let's create another folder called widgets. All right, so inside the widgets folder, what we need is search field widget. Search field widget dot dat. All right, like this, search field widget dot dat. All right, so it's going to be a stateless widget, right? It's going to be a stateless widget. Stateless widget is going to be a search field. Right, so inside the search field, what we want it to return, we want it to return a text field. Want it to return a text field. And then inside that text field, we need an onChanged method, right? Yeah, onChanged, which is going to take in a value. And then we'll take care of this onChanged method later on, right? And then the next thing that we need is a decoration. We need to decorate it, right? Decoration. So our decoration is going to be an input decoration. Input decoration, right? So inside our input decoration, we need a prefix icon, right? We need a prefix icon. So this icon is right here. This is the icon. This search icon right there. This is the icon that we need. So I'm just going to download this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it in our icons folder, right? So I'm just going to open this icon right here, and then inside, let's rename, and then I'm going to rename this just search. Okay, now we are done with it. So here the prefix icon is going to be an image.asset, right? Prefix icon is going to be image.asset. It's going to take in assets / icons and then search.png. Okay, and then let's give it a height of 25 and a width of 25. Let's give it a height of 25 and also a width of 25. Width of 25, right? Now we also need a hint text. So the hint text is going to be search food, drink, and then desserts. Right, and then we are also going to style the border. So it's going to have a border outline input border. Outline input border. Then we are going to have a border radius. Then it's going to be border radius dot circular 20. Let's make sure that it's 20. And then also we also need a border side. We make sure that the border side is none. We don't have a border side. So border side dot none. Okay, and then we also need the fill color also. It's going to be colors.white. And then we also need field to be true. And then we also need a suffix icon. So we also need a suffix icon. So now with the suffix icon, if I open my Figma, let's open our Figma. You can see this is our suffix icon. So let's just export the filter. Let's download the filter. And then let me just rename it to filter. Okay. So now we can copy this filter. And then under our icons, let's make sure we put it under the icons folder, inside the icons folder. All right, so now let's go back. Suffix icon, and then what we are going to do is going to be an image dot. It's going to be under an image dot asset. It's going to be under assets / icons, and then / filter.png. Filter.png, and then let's make sure we give it a height of 25 and the width of 25. Okay, and then we also need we need a focus border also. Focus border is going to be outline input border. Okay, and then the border radius is going to be border radius dot circular 20, and then we'll make sure that the border side is also border side dot none. Border side dot none. Okay, so now we are done with our search field, right? So we need to go back to our home screen. So under home screen, so what we also need to do is make sure that this filter icon right there, we put like a padding widget, right? So let's just put like a padding widget here, padding, and then let's go back to our home screen. Under padding, what we are just going to do is we are going to put in a sized box with a height of 60. Let's give it a height of 60, and then child, let's make sure it's search field. A search field, and then also let's make sure we wrap that with a padding widget. So let's wrap it with a padding widget, and then let's make sure that this padding widget is also under a constant. So let's remove this constant right here. Now if we reload our application, let's reload the application now, and then let's check. Perfect. Now we have our search field, right? We are done with our search field. Now the next thing that we need to do design is this, our banner right here. Okay, so with this banner now, what we need to do is let's create a folder called promotion. So let's create a folder called promotion under our features, promotion. And then inside this folder we need a model folder. We also need a controller, and then we also need a repository. We also need a repository, and we also need widgets. A widgets folder. Okay, so inside our lib folder, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to create a folder called fake data. So inside this folder, I'm just going to create a class called fake data. Fake data.dat. Okay, so this is going to be class fake data. All right, now inside our promotion, let's go back inside our promotions folder. So inside the promotion folder, so inside our features and then promotion, inside our model, what we need is a promotion. We need to create a promotion model. Okay, so inside this promotion model, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to create an abstract class. An abstract class promotion model with underscore $, promotion model, right? And then this class also has like a constructor. So the constructor is going to be promotion model. And then we are just, this model is just going to have like a string, a list of string images, right? So we use this model when we are getting like the promotions from Firebase, Firestore, right? So, and then after this, let's make sure that we set this to promotion model. And then now we need to create a factory method. So promotion, yeah, so this is correct, right? Create this method for factory promotion model dot from JSON, going to take in a map string and dynamic JSON, and then we are going to just set this promotion model from JSON into JSON. And then we need to make sure that we annotate this with the @first annotation, right? Make sure that we annotate it with @first, and then we need also the first dependence, right? So I'm just going to paste it here, and then I'm just going to get rid of this import statement here. We don't need it. This one, we don't need it, right? So let's just get rid of this import statement right here. And then, yeah, so let's use the Flutter pub run builder command to generate our first classes. Okay, so we have generated this class. So now what I'm just going to do is let's make sure we go inside our I'm just going to inside our fake data right there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a static list string which I'm going to call like promotions, which is equal to, so this is supposed to be promotions, right? And then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just put in assets slash banner slash, and then we have this item right there, banner.png, like this, right? So like this. Okay, so we are done with this fake data. So now what I'm going to do is inside our promotions folder, inside our widget, I'm just going to create a file called promotions widget. Promotions widget.dat file. So this is going to be a stateless widget. Promotions widget, right? So this promotion widget is going to return a clip rate widget. It's going to return a clip rate widget. It's going to return a clip rate widget, and then the border radius is going to be border radius dot secular with border radius dot secular. And then the next thing that we need is a child. And then the child is going to be a carousel slider. Carousel slider. Okay, so let's make sure that we import the dependency carousel slider. So let me get the dependence from so let me get the dependency and let me just paste it in, and then it's telling us that items parameter, we have items that are required, right? So let's make sure we put the items here, and then inside the items, what I'm just going to do is for the items, I'm going to say fake data dot promotions dot map. So we are going to map those promotions and then we are going to return a builder. And then we need a builder, and then the builder is going to be, it's going to take in a build context. Build context. And then what we are going to do is I'm going to return a network image. I'm going to return a network image, and then the image URL, then I is going to take in I, and then we need a height. Okay, so let's return a caged network image. Right, a caged network image, so we need this dependence, the caged network image. So I'm just going to paste the dependency above caged network image, and then the image URL is going to be I. And then we need a height 160 and then a width of double dot infinity, right, like this. And then we need a fit, which is going to be box fit dot cover. So this box fit dot cover, right? And then we need to convert this to a list. And then we also need like the options, right, from the carousel slider. We need options. So let's make sure that we include the options, right? And then options, and then we need carousel options. And then height is going to be 200. And then autoplay, we are going to make sure that autoplay is going to be true. And then viewport fraction is going to be 1. So the viewport fraction is equal to 1. And then once we are done with the promotions widget. So now let's go back to our home screen. So inside our home screen, what we are after this padding, we are going to have the promotions widget. After this promotions widget, what we are simply going to do is we are simply going to wrap it around with the padding. And let's make sure that it's constant, like this. All right, let's remove this one. Okay, so let's reload our application and then let's see if we are getting a promotions widget now. So let me just restart this emulator. I think something went wrong. All right, so the next thing now we need to deal with our categories widget, right? So inside our home screen, after this padding, what we simply need is a row widget, right? So we need a row widget, and then this row widget is going to take children. And then we are going to have a text widget. This text widget is going to, we are just going to call the text. Inside the text, it's going to be categories, right? And then we need a style, which is going to be a text style. And then inside the text style, we need a color. which is going to be colors.black. And then we also need a font size, which is going to be 14. Font size, which is going to be 14. And then we also need a font weight, which is going to be a font weight.bold. Font weight.bold, right? Now I'm just simply going to copy this text widget, and then I'm just going to paste it below, and then I'm going to change it to CO. Right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 11, and then I'm going to change this font weight to W600. Font weight to W600, W600. Okay, like this, and then I'm just going to make sure that I wrap this row widget with padding widget, and then make sure that there must be some spacing between these. So we're going to have main axis alignment, and then main axis alignment dot space between. Space between, and then just make sure we add a constant right there. Right, so now we are going to be dealing with the categories, right? So the categories, now what we're going to do is inside our features folder, we need a categories widget, right? We need a categories folder. Inside that categories folder, what we need models folder. We also need a screen folder. We also need the repository. And then we also need a widget folder. And then we also need a controllers folder. Right, so now inside our categories, if we go inside our model folder, we need to create our model. So I'm just going to create a category model.dat. Alright, so I'm just going to create an abstract class, category model, and it's going to extend the categories. It's not going to extend, I'm just going to with underscore $, category model. So make sure that this M is just a capital letter M, alright. And then we also need a factory category model. And then in this category we are going to need an image. We are also going to need a name, and then we are also going to need a category ID. So let's make sure that this is capital letter C, and then also this is capital letter C, and then make sure that you equal to underscore category model. Okay, so then the last one, we need this factory category model from JSON, a map of type string dynamic JSON, and then cast it to this model from JSON, right? And then I'm just going to copy the dependencies that we need. So we are going to need free start notation. So here it's supposed to be category model, this. And then let's use the Flutter pub run build runner to generate our model form. Okay, so now we have generated our categories folder. So inside our fake data class, we are going to have another fake data that I'm going to create, which is going to be a list of type category. A list of type category. We are going to name it categories list, which is equal to a list of categories, right? A list of categories. So let's it's supposed to be category model. So let's import the category model, and then inside our assets folder, if you still remember assets categories, we have these categories here. So I'm just going to create a category model inside here, and then we need an image. So image is going to come from our assets folder / categories, and then we have the beggar.png, and then it's supposed to be the title, or the name is supposed to be beggars like this, right? And then what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to copy this and then paste it several times. All right, so we have the beggars, and then the next one is going to be a chicken. So chicken, and then under assets folder, let's make sure that it's, you can see it's chicken leg.png. So you can get these files from my GitHub. And then what else do we need? What's this? So this is going to be DZ. So let's change this to DZ. And then it's going to be cupcake.png, and then the next one that we need is fried potatoes. Let's just call them fries here, fries. And then inside our assets folder, it's going to be fried potatoes. And then the next one is going to be pizza.png. Then the name, we are going to just change the name to pizza. Then the next one is going to be soft drink. .png, and then we are going to change to soft drinks. And then the other one is going to be soup.png. Then the next one here is going to be soups. and then we have stack.png. Let's change it to stack. And then we also need to change the sushi.png. Okay, so let's get rid of this one. Yeah, so now that we are done with our fake data, let's go back inside our categories folder under widgets. And then here what we need is a category widget. So let's create the file category widget.dat. It's going to be a stateless widget, and then category widget. And then now inside our category widget, our category widget is going to contain a category item, right? So let's create a category item widget. Item widget.dat, like this, and then stateless widget, and then category item widget. Category item widget, and then it's going to take in a category model, and then of type category. And then we're going to make sure that required, we pass it inside the constructor. Is.category. Okay, right. And then what we are simply going to do is we are simply returning a padding widget, right? Yes, we are simply going to return a card widget. And then the child of that card is going to be a container widget. And then we are going to give it a height of 80 and a width of 8. And then we also need a decoration, a box decoration. So inside our box decoration, we are going to give it a color, which is a color of white, right? And then we also need a border radius. So the border radius, and then let's make sure that the value is 20, right? And then we also need a child, which is going to be a column widget. So inside this child, we are going to have like main axis alignment, and then main axis alignment dot center. Main axis alignment dot center, and then we need a cached network image. So for it to work, we need a dependence. The package from cached network image, you can get that from my starter repository, where it has like all the packages that we used in this. Okay, cached network image, and then we need to specify the image URL. The image URL is going to be category.image.toString, right? So this can be nullable, so we need All right, and then also need a fit, and that is going to be box fit dot fill. And then the next one is going to be a width. So we need a width of 50 and then a height of 50. Right, so too many positional arguments. What's going on? Image URL. Okay, I see what I did wrong. So let's remove this. So inside a column widget, we need the children widget. So inside this children widget, that's when we are supposed to paste this. And then below it, what we need is a text. And then that text is going to be a category dot name. Okay, and then we need also to style it. So 12, and then font weight dot w. Font weight, we need to make sure that it's W300. Okay, W300. And then we also need to provide like the color. So the color is going to be colors dot gray 800. Okay, like this. So we are done with the category item widget. Now let's move inside our category widget, right? Inside our category widget. So inside our category widget, what we are simply going to do is we should make sure that it's going to return a list view dot builder. List view dot builder. Right. And then inside that list view, we need to make sure that the shrimp rep is going to be equal to true. Shrimp rep is equal to true. And then the next thing that we need to make sure is that the scroll direction is axis dot horizontal. Like this. And then inside the item builder, what you need to do is we need to provide the context and index. Context, index, and then we are just going to return the category item. The category item widget, right? In this case, we are going to say fake data fake data dot categories list, and then we provide the index, and then let's make sure that also like this, right? And then let's move on. We are done with the categories widget. Let's go back to our home screen widget. So let's go back inside our, what we need after this is a sized box. And then we need a height of 120. And then child is going to be categories widget, like this, right? So now we are done with this. So let's see another emulator that's running. iPhone 16 Plus. Then we need iPhone 16 Pro Max. Right, so let's first log in. And let's enter a password. Okay, so it's giving us no host specified API. So let's go back to our promotions widget. So here what we need is let's change this to image.asset. Image.asset. Then right, and then let's go back to our category item also, because now let's change this also to image.asset. The reason being, it's not coming from a network, it's coming from our asset folder. So we need to make sure that it's coming, we change this to an asset folder. So if we refresh, so let's stop it and then let's run the emulator again. So okay guys, so you can clearly see now we now have this item here. Now we have our promotion banner, and also have like, we now have like categories here, right? So somehow it's not in the range, somehow it's giving us like okay, I know why it's giving us. So let's make sure that inside item count, we forgot the item count. So the item count, we must make sure that the item count is a fake data dot categories list, and then dot length, the length of the categories list. So if I refresh now the mobile app, you can see now we have this scrollable list view item. So now we are left with this item displaying like food, right? So let's start working on that, right?